How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the What's Up Eddie channel, Divine Therapy Sessions. And of course, I'm the one and only Eddie. So glad to have you guys back. And these are my Divine Therapy Sessions. All right, guys. So today I want to talk about a subject in regards to, so there's different stages in the process of awakening, right? And there gets to a point where you get called to the forefront to be a leader. Each and every one has their own route that they take. It varies. It shows up a little differently for everybody. So being in some communities, as well as helping people with their awakening, also seeing people like in businesses and stuff like that in the spiritual community, I've gotten to see people grow. And there's an uncomfortable stage where you have to. I associate myself a lot with the tarot. I like it. It's a beautiful way. It's a conduit. Of course, it could be anything that you use in this world or platform can be used for good or bad, or evil or light, right? So depending on how you're using something, so use your own discernment. Like, are you using something for the darkness, or are you using something for the light? But and the reason why I say that is because people have a bad outlook on divination, but the human is the best conduit to God, right? We are the best divination tool. We have psychic powers, and we don't look at that enough, and I believe that we should. So does that make us evil because we're natural divinators, or whatever you want to call it? Absolutely not. So it depends on what your perspective is on it, right? But so there's a stage in the process where, like I said before, you get called to the forefront to be a leader. Now, I've seen people show up in this process, in this step, a little differently. It shows up. So for me, I was working in a construction job that I absolutely hated. And then two, I was coming out of being in recovery. Some of us have dealt with drug addiction and alcoholism, or some type of codependency issues, right? And so I found myself coming out of rehab, so I've already had to start over. I was homeless, so it was still difficult for me to just because this is the point I'm talking about, where you have to, not have to, but it's this burning sensation in you, this calling to teach others. It's difficult because there's multiple processes to this. One, you have to believe in yourself. So it's like, when I go back to the tarot card, is the Fool card, where you see the character jumping off the cliff blindfolded, right? Or free, like. And so what I get from that card, and what the explanation of it is that you're starting the Fool's journey, right? Everyone starts a journey out in life, and you don't know much, right? But that leap of faith is what I feel like Creator asks of us in this process. And this is to me, it's the test. This is the huge test. And during this process, it shows up a little differently for everyone, right? Because some people already have a career. Now, I'll get to that, but it's difficult too for people that are going through that. So for me, I had just got out of recovery, and I found myself in this spiritual awakening. I started seeing the whole world in a different aspect, right? Like, everything was different. And so I found myself in a community, and this spiritual community opened my eyes. I saw the world even in a grander way, right? And then, so being around other leaders, other spiritualists, mystics, whatever you want to call them, they started to teach. I started to learn a lot from them, right? And then I realized how much I had to offer, and so I had to make the leap of faith, right? And so my leap of faith is this YouTube channel, and my leap of faith started small. To me, it was small, but it was big, and that was going live on Facebook, going live on Instagram, posting on Instagram about these topics that I wasn't known for. It wasn't in me to talk about this stuff, right? And it's difficult for a lot of us out there, because a lot of the times we're riding the fence on both sides. We are not, it's like the coming out of the closet of the spiritual kingdom, right? You don't want to look a certain way in front of your family, friends, and close ones, and so you're living at this vigilante Batman lifestyle, right? Where it's like you're a weekend warrior for spirituality. It doesn't work that way, especially if you want success and you want to have your community. It's going to entail you to dive fully in, and some people it takes years to do this, and it's unfortunate because for a lot of us to get awakened, which is like I would say the woke, it's difficult because it's burned in us. God put that in us for a reason, to help another human being. So it's always in the back of your mind and is driving you crazy. So I always say this, you guys, dive in deep. And it's I'm not saying it's easy because I had my own troubles that I had. I can say a few things in this process. It's very difficult because you're going to have to tear away the things that you think are normal, because they're not going to be normal anymore. And people are already going to look at you strangely, right? Because you're talking about topics that to most people go over people's heads. You know, people don't understand that God's speaking to us through the planet, right? Or through the animal kingdom. It's really difficult to explain that to people. And then say that you were just a partier before, like me, right? Oh, that guy was known for being I was a player, known as being a fighter in high school. I was conceited, full of myself, that type of person, right? And then I turned into the drug addict, alcoholic. So when I started talking about the spiritual concept, people were like, what? Like, where did this come from, right? And so it's unheard of. It was unheard of for me to even talk about stuff like that. And that's what's so beautiful about this, you guys. There's no, we all come in all shapes and sizes. It doesn't matter. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because no matter what your medicine is, whatever you're teaching or healing humanity, you're important no matter what it is. And, you know, if you have an onslaught of gifts, beautiful. If you only have one, which is highly unlikely, know that you have something to give to another person. And that's difficult, easier said than done, I'm telling you, but there's levels to it. And if you take the dive into your craft, learn it. But there's a process to it. So, like, obviously this is saying that you've done some trauma work and you're ready to put yourself out there, right? To be a leader. Don't let anyone tell you when it's your time. You know when it is your time. Just go out there and do it, right? The best thing I say is that failure is an option. If you fall on your face, good. Get back up and keep going. I've done some bombers, man, like some really bad videos. Check out my old videos, like the beginning of this, and you'll see that there's many mistakes made, but I leave them up because it shows progression. And I do that on purpose so I can show others that it didn't just start with me being able to talk to a camera without even having a manuscript, right? Like thinking about it so intensely. So guys, this stuff is coming right out of my head right now, right? And I'm not afraid of what the other person on this camera that's not even in front of me is thinking of me. It took a long time to get here. So the reason why I say this to you is not to show off, but to tell you that this is an option for you. I think, going back to the other version of this, say that you've already made yourself a known name, or you're in a company, let's say a Fortune 500, or even if you're in a company that you've been there for over a decade, or even 5 years, right? You got comfortable with the money, you have your place, you're pretty well off, but you're being called to do the spiritual thing. I always call it the spiritual thing because it's a part-time job. It's a weekend warrior kind of deal, right? But you know deep down in your heart that people out there need you, because you see it around the world. You see it all the time. The most people that I run across, they're having issues. They're having trouble and they need help. No, this isn't like go save everyone kind of deal. Obviously that's not possible. I wish it was, but it's not. But everyone has their own medicine, right? And your medicine is needed by the world. And so I say this, it's difficult, and it's probably more difficult if you have already established. I've seen people for a long period of time not being able to make the transition from the corporate world to the spiritual world, where they have to believe in themselves, because it's entrepreneurial at the end of the day, and it's difficult. It's very difficult, and some people have a difficult time because of a few steps being missed, I feel like. And I'll say this, you guys, you're never going to be ready to do anything. It's never going to feel comfortable. If it was comfortable, everyone would do it. So you're going to have to get to a place where you say F-U-C-K, fear, and go for it. Go through it. Bust through that HESCO barrier, or bust through that wall of fear. And yeah, like if you bust through a wall, you're probably going to get battered and beat up a little bit, right? But on the other side, there's freedom, there's bliss, there's glory, there's learning. You'll learn through it, right? All I can say is this, you guys, is that beauty comes on the other side of that. Say if you want to teach others, but so let's say you have a social media platform like Facebook or Instagram, and you want to start to get out there, put yourself out there, and you're afraid of your community, you're afraid that your family's going to say anything. I'm going to say this: everything has loops, everything has cycles. I talk about Hermetic principles, which one of the principles is the principle of rhythm. Check that video out. And the reason why I bring this up is because it says that everything is a cycle. Everything has an ebb and flow to it. So I bring that up to tell you this, is that the cycles that you bring up in your life, the things that you do, the practices, stuff like that, those things help you. Check those. And also, this is my drop for my other videos. Go check that out. There's multiple videos on my YouTube channel. Check them out. They're very helpful, especially for those who are in the beginning of their spirituality, and you don't know what to do next, you know. But if you're trying to get yourself out there and you're on a platform and you don't know, so look, you're gonna have multiple phases to this. You're gonna have to take the mask off. That's the most difficult part. I find when you get honest, you're gonna be able to teach a lot better. You're gonna be afraid. You're going to look afraid. That's okay. That's perfect. If you weren't afraid, this wouldn't matter to you, right? Every time I get on the camera, you guys, I have butterflies. It's part of it. And after enough time of doing it, and you guys, this is the unfortunate part. You're going to get rejected. You're going to get a whole lot of rejection. Who gives a shit? At the end of the day, it's this stuff. Anyone who's in counseling, therapy, coaching, you do not want to get attached to the result business. You're in the information business. You're just giving information and you're facilitating. That's it. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to make anyone do anything. So you're just in the information business. Don't get attached to the results, because the results has nothing to do with you. Because you can't make someone do something. So once you've let go of what other people think of you, which is very hard because we all seek validation on some level. And I always say, man, once you get that F-U-C-K attitude of, and not to say because of everybody, but just to say that it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, you're going to have to get true to yourself and just put the information out there, and whatever people are going to do, what they're going to do with it. The bad news is that not everyone's going to like you, even if you're doing the right thing. And there are going to be people out there that do like you. You're not everyone's cup of tea, but you are a cup of tea, so go for it. That's what I say. Also, another good pointer for you is yeah, man, I hear this too, especially if you are on a platform, a YouTube channel, anything out there. Just start doing the videos, even if it looks bad, because once you replay it, you're going to say, hey, wait, that wasn't so hard. And then you'll start to realize, oh, this is what I do. I use my hands a lot, or I fix my hair, or I touch my face a lot, or and then you start to realize that, and that's the growth. I'm not going to say all my stuff yet, because in the future I would love to teach about this, right? But there's multiple things that you get to learn about yourself. This is freeing, and it's trauma work in itself, because you get to realize what your strengths and what your weaknesses are at, and you realize where they come from. It's beautiful. You guys, I'm sitting here with support and love for you guys. I hope that you guys are getting something from these videos. Yeah, I just say, I say this, you guys. There's someone out there right now in the world who is suffering from something that you've cured yourself from, that you've gone through. And so you owe it to someone, to your family, to your community, to the people who are your community, because you're going to be the leader of that community, right? They deserve your medicine, man. They deserve to be freed just like you got freed, right? And that should be the motivation right there. There should be no fear. I'll end it with this story, you guys. The reason why I do this, and I do this so willingly now, is because when I was 6 months sober, I had the solution to my drinking problem, right? And I had a brother who had lost his life, and 2 months before that, I kept getting the intuitive nudge to call him and tell him something. Tell him, just to get the good word out there, right? To teach him, because I had the cure for it. And I didn't do it. And my brother lost his life. And so it goes without saying, there's obviously I had no, it's got nothing to do with me at the end of the day. That would be selfish, but it's hard for me not to digest that and say, wow, I could have helped that kid, or I could have had some kind of effect, So every time I come after that situation, I come from a place of, you never know, man. It could be someone's last moment, or it could be in a positive note. It could be that one moment that you save someone's life, and they are going to be something. We may just be a pawn in a big chess game, right? In this big chess game, you may be helping someone. You may just be that perfect nudge of positivity that gets someone to start their spiritual journey or to feel good about themselves. And that person's kid's kid happens to be someone who can change the world. You never know. You just never know, right? So be that positive note for someone else, and be that positive person in another person's life, or in your community that's perfectly made for you, because God has made every person in this world significant. That's the truth, you guys, because all of us are limitless, all of us are powerful, and we're all one unit collectively. We're all connected. All of us have infinite potential, infinite genius in us. It's been just waiting for you to tap into it. There's certain things that you have to do to get there, but it's possible. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you guys with that. I'm going to drop some more videos on stuff like this. I think it's important, you guys. We're all leaders, and we need to come to the forefront, because there's people out there that need you specifically. This is the call. If you're on this video right now and you've lasted 8 minutes watching this, God is asking you to get up off your ASS. Hit it. Get to the next level. You're being called. All right, guys, make sure to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right.